Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into some absolutely fascinating source material that breaks down how to transform a completely chaotic, overwhelming day into one of profound peace. We're talking about using intentional spiritual routines. You know, if you've ever felt like your days are just this massive blur of putting out fires, well, the blueprint we're unpacking today offers a seriously compelling alternative. Let's get right into it.
So let's confront the literal second your alarm goes off. You know the exact feeling I'm talking about, right? That weight of the morning just hits you and the uncertainty of the next 16 hours is just looming over you. The sources challenge us right out of the gate with this really punchy question. Are you happening to the day, or is the day happening to you? Figuring out the answer to that? Well, that's the secret to moving from constantly reacting to actually living with real, tangible purpose.
Look at the massive contrast here. It's the difference between waking up to a crushing to-do list versus starting with an active, spiritually grounded defense mechanism. On the left side, we've got the passive approach. Hitting the snooze button, waking up to a literal minefield of racing thoughts, dreading the morning. But on the right, the intentional morning. This completely bypasses that frantic frenzy. It anchors your focus in gratitude and uses spoken declarations of purpose to literally rewire your brain's focus. It's a total game changer.
To actually move out of that chaos, the sources provide a 5-step chronological roadmap. We're going to cover waking up with purpose, seeking daily direction, becoming a blessing, surrendering the day's burdens, and finally, finding peaceful rest. Together, these 5 steps create this incredibly resilient spiritual container for your entire day.
All right, step 1, waking up with purpose. This is all about establishing a rock-solid foundation of safety before the day gets completely away from you. Now, the texts are super insistent that you take specific mental and physical actions before your feet even hit the floor. We're talking about making a vocal declaration, literally saying out loud that you expect good things and that you are going to be a blessing to others. Now, this isn't just some fluffy, wishful thinking. The source material presents this as a highly active psychological and spiritual framing technique. It instantly shifts your focus from anxiety to opportunity right out of the gate.
I love how the sources use this epic Genesis creation metaphor here. They compare our anxious, racing morning minds to the formless void of the early cosmos, just waiting for divine order. You aren't just asking for a quick productivity hack. You're asking for someone to speak order out of the chaos of your overflowing mental inbox. It's this massive, sweeping request for mental clarity. It bridges the gap between your physical exhaustion and what the day actually demands of you.
Moving on to step 2. Seeking daily direction. Once we cross the threshold into the active part of our day, we really need to figure out how to navigate all that midday hustle. The source material highlights a really crucial pause here, asking for your daily assignment rather than just acting on autopilot. It points out that King David was an incredibly experienced warrior, right? His gut instinct was probably to just attack immediately. But by pausing to ask, "Shall I go?" he showed this amazing strategic humility. The text suggests that doing this prevents us from fighting battles we were literally never meant to be in. And this brings up a tough question from the text, one that really challenges our modern priorities and how we handle our crammed schedules. Are you treating these moments of pausing and seeking direction as an afterthought, just something to squeeze in, or are they the central hub that your entire day revolves around? The sources make a pretty strong argument that doing things in your own strength without this guidance is exactly what leads to that constant, exhausting uphill struggle. Which brings us perfectly to step 3, becoming a blessing. As we step out the door, the focus shifts completely from inward preparation to outward execution.
The source material offers this rapid-fire, highly practical midday strategy. The goal? To fuel your own momentum by actively dispensing good to others. It suggests setting your mind to be adaptable and intentionally complimenting people, like, say, your spouse or your coworkers, at least 5 times a day. This conscious positivity isn't just about making them feel good, though. It's a mechanism that directly combats your own midday fatigue. It shifts your focus entirely away from your own internal anxieties.
Think about the difference between letting every single grumpy coworker ruin your mood versus putting on your emotional armor before you even leave the house. The texts use this fantastic metaphor of putting on the shoes of peace. Listen, if you walk out into your day barefoot, every piece of broken glass or minor annoyance is going to cut you. But by pre-committing to peace, you are deciding in advance, hey, a traffic jam or an unfair boss, no way are they stealing my joy today.
All right, step 4, surrendering the day's burdens. As the sun sets, the fighting portion of the day is officially over, and a completely different posture is required from us. Check out the massive energy shift mapped out here. We go from the intense striving of the morning to a deliberate letting go at night. You can see the day start with active petitioning for strength. Then it moves into navigating that midday friction, and then it drastically pivots at 8 p.m. to passive surrender. It's a conscious, intentional decision to stop fighting and transition completely out of that high RPM mental state.
The texts are crystal clear on this. You absolutely cannot carry a warrior mindset into bed. You have to practice surrender. And look, surrender here isn't about giving up in defeat. It's actually defined in the sources as an active relinquishment of anxiety. It's about recognizing our human limitations and understanding that, hey, we simply cannot control every outcome. We are deliberately ceasing our human striving.
Practically speaking, this means taking a full inventory of your existence and just handing it over. Leave your daily wounds at the door so you aren't lying awake staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m. The sources suggest actually speaking these words out loud, handing over your time, your intellect, and your unresolved conflicts. It is a systematic, total release of the day's baggage, ensuring it does not follow you into your dreams.
And that ultimate release of control leads us right into step 5, finding peaceful rest. We've successfully bookended the chaos, and now we finally arrive at restoration. This act of surrender builds into an overwhelming sense of spiritual safety, relying on a force infinitely stronger than yourself. The source material actually quotes Psalm 57 to paint this vivid, beautiful picture of taking refuge in the shadow of divine wings. It's a powerful psychological state. You feel completely guarded, and that allows you to rest, even if the calamities of your life haven't actually been resolved yet.
By following these steps, your sleep completely transforms. It goes from being a stressful battleground into a restorative sanctuary guarded by the Prince of Peace. The sources outline this exact progression. Quiet the mind, turn off those unsettling thoughts, and consciously invite protection over your rest. Doing this ensures you wake up the next morning physically and mentally renewed, totally ready to start the cycle all over again. So we'll wrap up this explainer with a final, provocative thought. Just imagine how your life could transform if you simply started framing your days with these two powerful bookends. If you intentionally set your focus before your feet even hit the floor and completely relinquish control before your head hits the pillow, you stop being a victim of your circumstances. According to this blueprint, you can build a foundation of literally unshakable peace. Thank you so much for exploring this source material with me today. Give it some thought and consider what your next 24 hours